You have felt something shifting. Not outside, but deep, in a place only your soul knows. The kind of shift that has you holding your breath for no reason, as if something is on its way. And it is. The angels say, he is already on his way back. But not as he was. Something sacred has happened inside him, something your spirit has waited lifetimes to witness. This is not about a return to the past. This is about a return to truth. And you are the reason for this awakening. When your paths first crossed, it was not coincidence. Heaven whispered your name into his life because your light was meant to disrupt his numbness. Your love, even in silence, stirred something he buried a long time ago. You did not chase. You did not beg. You simply existed, with a grace that made the divine impossible to ignore. And now, as he navigates his own quiet reckonings, he remembers how your presence made everything feel more alive. He's not coming back for comfort. He's coming back because he knows you are the answer to a question he was too afraid to ask. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1 verse 5. He holds your name in a place he rarely visits, the place where his truest feelings reside. But to open that door fully, he fears what will pour out. The angels say, his distance was never rejection. It was protection, of the wounded boy still learning how to feel without breaking. He learned to survive, not to surrender. To analyze, not to trust. And yet, you disrupted that. Something in you called out to his deepest self, the part that longs for real love but trembles at its weight. You were a mirror, a flame, a bomb. And that scared him more than he'll ever admit. Because real love doesn't let you hide. Real love holds up a mirror. And when he looked at you, he saw all that he wasn't ready to confront, the need for control. The fear of being chosen and then abandoned. The ache of never feeling completely safe. He's not avoiding you. He's dodging the avalanche of everything he tried to bury. But the angels are close now. They're whispering courage into his fears. They're creating space inside him for love that doesn't run away. You didn't fail. You cracked him open. And that was always part of the divine plan. You gave him light, but don't forget, your own flame matters too. The angels want you to know, love is not a sacrifice. Love is a reflection. And you were never meant to shrink so he could grow. You are not here to wait in silence for someone else to be ready. You are here to rise, first for yourself, then for everything that love awakens in you. He saw your strength and mistook it for ease. But the angels see the weight you carry. The quiet tears. The invisible prayers. The moments you questioned if your softness was a flaw. It is not. You don't have to earn love by being less. You don't have to overgive to prove your worth. Your soul is radiant. Your heart is sacred. And your energy is too precious to pour into someone who hasn't yet learned to hold it. The angels are asking you to return to yourself. To tend to the garden of your own spirit while he learns how to show up without fear. You were never meant to lose yourself in love. You were meant to remember who you are within it. And in that remembering, everything begins to shift. Even him. There are truths about himself he never wanted to see, until he saw you. The angels say, your presence was never just comforting. It was confrontational, in the most sacred way. You didn't just enter his life. You reflected it. And in your eyes, he saw both the man he hides and the man he longs to become. He tried to love you while wearing his masks. But masks fog the mirror, and your soul requires clarity. You shone a light where he kept shadows. And that light hurt, because it healed. You reminded him of everything pure he thought he had lost. The way you forgive. The way you believe. The way you love without trying to control. That kind of love isn't comfortable, it's transformative. And transformation, dear soul, is terrifying to those who have spent years just surviving. He pulled away not because you were wrong for him, but because you were too right, too real, too honest, too whole. And now he's left staring into the mirror you placed before him, asking, am I ready to become the man her love sees? The angels know the answer is already beginning to bloom. It started quietly, the way most sacred things do. A dream he couldn't shake. A memory that replayed for no reason. A sudden ache when your name crossed his mind. The angels say, he is awakening. Not to the idea of love, but to the truth of what love actually demands. And it started with you. Not your words. Not your touch. but the energy you carry. That quiet strength. That radiant faith in something bigger than pain. He thought he could forget. That time would dissolve what was left unsaid. But the silence has only made your presence louder. You live in his stillness now. In the space between his questions. In the echo of the version of himself he hasn't met, but knows you see. He's beginning to understand. This connection was never random. It was a summons. To rise. To soften. To feel. The awakening doesn't look like grand gestures yet. It looks like hesitation before old patterns. Regret in moments he used to ignore. A longing that he doesn't know how to name. But the angels are clear. Something has shifted. He's listening now. Not to noise. But to the pull of the sacred. And that pull is you. He comes close, then retreats. Smiles, then disappears. Promises, then forgets. The angels say, this isn't confusion. It's resistance. A sacred kind, the kind born from fear of losing control. He wants to love you. But love like this doesn't come with a map. It comes with mirrors. With earthquakes. With surrender. He's caught in a loop of longing and fear. You touch a place he thought was closed forever. That kind of touch makes the soul tremble. So he runs, not from you, but from the self you awaken. The self that feels too much. Wants too deeply. Craves something he was taught to silence. And then, he comes back. Drawn to your light like breath returning after a storm. You ask silently if this is real. The angels answer, yes. But real doesn't always mean ready. This pattern is not your fault. It's his war, between the familiar ache of solitude and the terrifying beauty of being truly seen. He's trying. Failing. Learning. The cycle is his teacher. But you? You are the lesson. And the time will come when he stops running, not because he's tired, but because he knows every road leads back to you. You didn't just love him. You healed something in him. The angels say, your love was the first place he didn't need to perform. And even in silence, your heart kept speaking to his. You held space when he pulled away. You stayed kind when his wound spoke louder than his truth. You never begged him to be ready, you just loved him where he was. And that, dear soul, was medicine. Not the kind that fixes instantly, but the kind that lingers, rewiring the heart from the inside out. He's beginning to feel it now. The echo of your patience. The memory of your warmth. The quiet power of a woman who knew her worth and still chose softness. You didn't just offer affection, you offered sanctuary. And for a man used to surviving storms alone, that was unfamiliar and unforgettable. The love you gave didn't demand, didn't diminish, didn't push. It invited. And now, even in your absence, that invitation still lives in him. He's learning that real love doesn't shout, it returns. And when it does, it carries the scent of home. You were never here to fix him. You were here to remind him he was never broken. Nothing is lost. Nothing is wasted. Even the silence has meaning. The angels say, this love has always been guided, by unseen hands, by timings that can't be explained, by grace too subtle to name. You were placed on this path not to chase him, but to awaken something eternal in both of you. And now, as he walks through his reckoning, you are being asked to walk in trust. Not blind faith. Sacred knowing. There's a plan unfolding that neither of you fully understands. But heaven does. And the blueprint is divine. You may feel left behind. Forgotten. But you are not alone. The angels are surrounding you, whispering reassurance into the ache. They are clearing the fog, one moment at a time. He was never meant to complete you. He was meant to mirror your strength. To rise with you, not carry you. And so this pause, this space, is holy. Because it is here that both of you become who you were always meant to be. For we walk by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5 verse 7. He hides behind logic. Smiles behind armor. Speaks in circles when the truth is too raw. But the angels know, he longs to be chosen for who he really is, not who he pretends to be. And you saw him. Too clearly, too deeply, too soon. That terrified him. Because when you meet someone who sees past your walls, you either run or surrender. And he ran. Not from rejection, but from revelation. You saw the child behind the charm, the ache beneath the silence, the fear under every hesitation. You saw the man who never learned to say, "I'm afraid." And still, you stayed. That shook him. Because love that doesn't demand masks feels too holy to trust. He wants to come closer, but vulnerability isn't a language he speaks fluently. It's a dialect he's learning through you. The angels say he replays your moments together, quietly, when no one's watching, trying to decode what they meant, why they moved him, and how they made him feel less alone. He's softening. Slowly. Secretly. And in that softening, he's becoming someone braver. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34 verse 18. There comes a moment when the soul exhales, not because it got what it wanted, but because it finally surrendered. The angels say, "You were never here to force anything into existence. You were here to remember that love, in its truest form, doesn't chase, it allows." He may return. He may not. But the deeper truth is this: what is meant for you already knows the way back. You are not waiting. You are welcoming. You are not incomplete. You are becoming. The ache you've carried? It was never a punishment. It was a passage. Through it, you found strength. Through it, you found yourself. And now, you let go. Not out of bitterness. Out of wisdom. You've done your part. You've loved well. You've remained open. And that is enough. The angels surround you now, not with promises, but with peace. The kind that whispers, nothing real is ever lost. What you built in the unseen still lives. What was shared in silence still echoes. And if he is meant to return, it will not be because you waited, but because he remembered. That light like yours is never forgotten. A time to search and a time to give up. A time to keep and a time to throw away. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 6.